There you go. I guess the first thing we notice here is that my eyeglasses could use an adjustment. Thankfully, there is a little reflection in my lenses. So what we see and what we have is what's going to be repeated. And that is basically I am left off, not in quotes or pun intended, but we would see how we wake up, for it has reached that time, which I would like to call bedtime. For what I would take with me would be thoughts of I could only say what firstly comes to mind, my paternal. That's not necessarily true, but a mother in all regards would be that who has been enduring to you. Yes, everything does not need to coincide, but this I do debate within myself. Why is it? Almost lost it there. Why is it that basically we do have what do you call that? Let's see what we got here. A hunch. There we go. We do have a hunch to say there is a why is it that we have a hunch for doing things differently? I guess if we leave it to the experts, they could basically how do you say, come up with their own sufficient response, and that will be an answer well accepted. I hope that my hair loss is not something that is going to be pervasive or at least aggressive to the point of its progression, for it sure looks like I could recover in that regard. Now, why would I think myself any good not to forget Malcolm X? It is Black History Month. That doesn't mean I agree with all his views. I would need a disclaimer, as most networks have. The views expressly contained therein is not necessarily the views of the author. So basically, what do we have? There's a little what you call this impression that is on my screen that makes it difficult to tilt accordingly. That is a picture moment that we would like to capture. I guess the succession is that no forced entry would be somebody else's own domain. We like to be safe in our explaining if we ever could. And where could we go? Only as far as God will take us. So it's a little sad that I must contemplate things that are only appropriately contemplated, as they would have their place in any sane individual. Now, what do we classify private information? I guess what we divulge is what should be examined, and that's not always the case. So I won't give it all away, but we do take care of our own, and that should always be within the blue code. I could say this blue code because I served in a slight capacity of those that would be seen as guardsmen, even if it's in a scope that is not necessarily highlighted to its fullest effect, that might be in our best interest. So while I examine what is the formality and not out of shape presentation, we do see that we have very little time, and this is not something I worry about, but we do always like to be concise, and sometimes we do lose the points. So I hope that everything is in place as it should be. I cannot work too abstractly, but we should love the things that's set before us. And if there was any how you say opposite force or parallelism, and what's that called, it's not aura, it is the contrasting nature is an element of it. Is we don't want resistance, attraction, friction. We don't want resistance or friction, but it's just interesting that I'm happy, not necessarily where I'm at, but where are you at is a good question. We could always wander in more ways than one. So I guess we need to round out the edges of any what is this? We could be careful with our, what's that? It's not peripheral, it is perspective, yes. So I don't know. We do like safety. We appreciate that we could recall certain things. There never should be a fight. And there wasn't. But it is interesting how there are certain people in their enterprises that are very advantageous. I am not blaming any culprit, but we should make peace, even if only in our immediacy. So I'm looking forward to practice that, and I hope with the refreshing that is what we will all take for the morning, I can visit you with a comparison, which I was hoping to have a little better appearance this evening, but we would have the morning in which I always woke up very, how you say, bright outlooking of any day that forbade us the entreaty of the saying, good morning, but that is tomorrow, and today it is what has been recorded and stated, not empathetically so, but we would go to know that people do prove their points. So I guess you have your own to contemplate, consider, and if anything's aching, it is the distinction that you're making. So yes, we will keep our, how you say, spell check functioning. And it's interesting how we are not too, we always want to make better of what has been or what was, but it's not always wise to do so. So that's a little thing that I am currently battling with. So may our rest be peaceful, and as we resume, may we have every element of health to our disposal.